We could talk about uni. You're studying writing, right? You've got to say something, Piper. We've been having these sessions for weeks now. I can't help you if you don't open up. You used to live with your mum. What was home like?
Piper, get up! Get up! Piper, get up! For the love of God,
Mom!
get up! I'm leaving in half an hour, with or without you. Sometimes I get tired of being a mum. I get sick of yelling at you every single morning to get up, get dressed. I'm sacrificing another morning for you, again.
Too bad. You should have thought about that 13 years ago.
You don't get it. You never do anything to help.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Do you want me to help now? In the car?
You're
I could
always
pull a
saying,
ladybird,
I'm too
but I
busy
guarantee
to do
that
anything
won't
else.
end
What a
well.
load of codswallop.
Codswallop? Who says that?
Load of crap. Is that any better?
Thank you. If you're going to insult me, I want to understand you.
Oh.
Do you like it?
Do I get a choice?
No.
Then how do you know I'm being honest?
Mom, seriously.
Yes.
Do you like it?
Yes. You're a very talented writer. Spelling sucks, but hey, what's new?
You two obviously have a close relationship. What was Mum like when she was angry?
I can do it.
Good, then do it.
How? You always take it before I can.
It's because you just sit there.
It's my plate. I can clean my own plate.
Yeah, and if I waited for you, I'd be waiting until midnight.
Relax now and do it later.
But I want it done now.
But it doesn't matter.
To you, who never offers to help.
I would if you'd let me.
Then do it now.
I'm watching the movie.
Exactly.
I can do it after. It's got like 10 minutes.
For the love of God, I want these dishes washed this century, not when you'd like them done. Now come and help.
It's only got 10. Stop! No, stop! Wait, stop!
Why do you have to fight me on everything? All I wanted you to do was help.
Please, stop hitting me.
Do you disobey me just so I get annoyed?
You don't get it.
Get what?
For the love of God, do you want a hug? Look, if you just did what I asked you to do, we wouldn't fight. I'm sorry I hit you. I won't do it again.
How often did these fights occur?
We haven't talked in a while. I wrote this and I thought you might want to hear it. I wish I were a superhero. I could fly away from all the numb pain and hollow screams, rushing back again and again. But mostly, I wish for that second life. One not tarnished by those who bottle fake promises and hope they can do no wrong because we are young and dramatic and it's all our fault. For who would believe a child? But superheroes, what did I do wrong? It's something in a past life, or when I was little. I'm sorry. I used to write in colour, tales of wonder, joy, and imagination. But now, faded echo haunts this space. But it's okay. I've lasted this long, so what's a few more meltdowns, going down, things falling to pieces down. No superheroes come and save me. This isn't a story. I am alone. And no one will save me. God, I don't want to do this anymore.
Piper, your past doesn't have to consume you. Only you decide what affects you. Can you remember a happy instance of childhood?
2, 3. Remember when
Can we talk about something else?
Is it, Dad? We're okay. We're gonna be okay.
It's just so hard when it's me. All the fighting, the bills, raising you. And it's only me. I used to have a father. And now he won't even talk to me. I'm sorry if I haven't been a very good mum. I'm sorry I get angry. Sometimes I can't control myself and I act in not the best way. I promise not to hit you anymore.
Thanks. And for what it's worth, you're doing okay so far.
Haven't messed up your childhood yet?
No.
That's good. You know I love you, right?
Of course. I love you too.
Maybe it was my fault. I was hard to handle and she lashed out, but she's my mum. She did everything for me.
Piper, I need you to understand something. What happened was never okay. That should never be accepted, sweetheart. Do you know why you're here?
I can't tell what's right. Some memories feel like a child's imagination. They don't feel real, but pain does. I thought it was all my fault. I was uncontrollable, but now everything feels less black and white. Like I've been lied to my entire childhood. I'm here because I'm broken. Because I'm paying for someone else's mistakes.
You're not broken, Piper.
I don't want this to define me anymore. I don't want this to be like my story.
So change it.
I'm sorry I hit you. I didn't mean it.
You said you wouldn't. You promised.
I know. You'll understand when you have kids.
No.
I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna pretend like everything was fine.
I'm not gonna keep running back to the same cycle and empty promises.
Stop being so dramatic.
Start holding yourself accountable.
I said I was sorry. What more do you want?
For you to actually stop.
For you to actually mean it.
Did you ever think that if you just did what I asked you to do, I wouldn't get so angry?
This wasn't my fault. I held no control over your actions and nothing I did should have ever resorted to that.
None of my friends' parents hit them. No other 13-year-old was scared of their mum.
Please, you're not scared of me. You yell at me just as much.
I asked them. And they were terrified by what you did.
So what, you go around telling them how awful a mum I am? Do you know what will happen if they tell their parents? I'll get taken away. Is that what you want?
Then why did you do it?
I don't know!
You're never going to admit it. I used to think if you did, everything would be okay. Now, I don't really care. I don't need your apologies. Just my forgiveness.
Last week I asked you to rewrite one of your old stories. Do you have it?
I never knew a superhero. She never flew me away from all the numb pain and hollow screams. But eventually, I stopped buying bottles of fake promises and obedience. I refused to listen to those fallen heroes because they can do wrong. We're not young and dramatic. It is not our fault, and we do not have to apologize. But it's okay now. I lasted through the meltdowns, breakdowns, everything's falling to pieces, downs. No, I was never saved by a superhero. This isn't a story. This world is a hollow place. The ones we love can lead us into darkness. But it's those of good nature and honest hope, whether friends, family, ourselves, who save us. And if we hold on, allow the light in, this hollowing world becomes beautiful.
All good? Alright, awesome. Sound. Sound. Speed. Oh, okay. Camera. Okay, scene 3. Shot 8, take 1.
If you have an idea, if you have an instinct or like a creative itch, don't let anything stop you from doing that, because on the other side of you doing it is going to be just so much joy and I guess more passion and more admiration for things that you've gone through. So just don't be scared, don't stop because other people say it's not going to work, and just keep going. Hi, I'm Bianca Sappi and I'm the writer and director of Beautiful Hollow. I think just being on set, working with all of the people, working with all the actors, getting to actually practice being a director and see the things that you've been writing for so long actually come onto screen. I think that was a really fulfilling moment, actually seeing actors embody the characters that you've envisaged and say the lines, and getting to work with them about who they think the characters are, how they would move and work and sound. I think that was really cool. And just, yeah, again, getting to work with all these really incredible people who are really skilled and really talented, and just going there every single day and being in such a creative environment. It was really fun. It was really cool.
Hi, I'm Hayden Huynh. I'm the co-producer and first assistant director for the movie Beautiful Hollow. What made me work on Beautiful Hollow was that Bianca approached me with the script and I thought it was such a fantastic story, and I read through it and I thought it had so much potential. And that I was talking to my other co-producer Liam and Bianca, in which we worked so closely together, we thought we have to get a stellar crew in order to achieve this story.
My name is Liam Regent, and I am the producer of Beautiful Hollow. So Bianca approached me because she's heard of my producing experiences for a couple of films this year, and she approached me with the story, and I read the script, and I saw the script had a lot of potential, and I went, all right, I definitely want to work on this project with you. This is the biggest crew that I think I got to work with. It was around maybe 20 or so people. I had a good time with on set. Like, there's no one that I had real problems with as far as I can tell.
I am Nino. I'm the audio supervisor, the audio mixer and designer for Beautiful Hollow. It was one of those films that really stood out to me. It was really passionate and powerful film. The script was really brilliantly written. I was really enticed by what was happening in the script. There was going to be a lot of drama. There was going to be a lot of action. It was going to be like a film that really resonated to me, and it was something that I could really see as being a successful film.
Hi, I'm Simon, and I'm the composer. Hayden actually offered me Beautiful Hollow to do the whole soundtrack for. And yeah, I was quite intrigued by that, so I took it on board. And just getting out of my comfort zone, especially in the type of music that I was creating for this film, because it's not really the type of music that I normally make. So it was really good to expand my horizons and just push myself a bit out there artistically, I'd say. Yeah, I really had to strip down the instruments to the most basic elements. So I try to just stick to acoustic guitar, strings like violin, cello, violas sometimes, and just like very light percussion, things like that. You're making music for the film, so it has to suit the vibe of the film. And you got to work with the director, got to be creatively in sync with them. I'd say that was a really good learning experience as well, working with a director creatively like that.
This is one of the hardest films and experiences I've ever had to do. So I think I've come out of it with a very different understanding of life and things that I've gone through.
The concept sounded interesting and like it needed to be sort of told. Like reading through the script and talking with Bianca, when I first read through the script, I think it needed really complex shots, which influenced the cinematography towards the film that way.
On the film, I played the role of Piper, young Piper. I thought it was pretty good. Some of the scenes I found it hard to get the tears rolling, and but it was really fun. I liked it. She would get me to try it different ways, see what worked best, see what felt best. During rehearsals with Kim, we would do it quite a few times over, trying all those different ways, and every single time all three of us would just go, yep, that's the one. So yeah, it was good. She was really good. I felt like she was my mom. Like some parts, just a younger version. I walked in and there were 3 scenes that you were meant to have, but I only had 2 because the first page was just blank when we tried to print it. And I walked in, I did the 2 scenes, and then I was like, am I meant to have like a 3rd one? And they were like, yeah, the monologue. And I was like, I don't have that. And they were like, oh, why? And I was like, it just didn't print. And so they gave me the monologues, like the script of the monologue, and I was like, wow, that is a big piece of writing. Yeah, I had a quick skim over it and did just a dry read. And I remember Bianca was like, are you sure that was your first read? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that was really good. That was perfect. Can you do that again? And I was like, yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay, yay, thank God. Like, I was really shocked. I didn't expect that.
My name's Charlotte Wood, and I am playing President Piper. I kind of came up with a character analysis of what I thought Piper would be like, digging into her past, things like that, putting a bunch of stuff together. But I think we both had an understanding of how Piper was back then, how she is when I play her. I have a lot of similarities with the story surrounding my parents, so I was able to relate to it a lot, which was really nice. It was nice to be able to be a part of a story that I felt connected to personally. Piper's story is very intense, and her childhood trauma is quite overwhelming, but I really like the triumphant moment at the end, which kind of shows that you can go through a lot, but like it doesn't have to define you.
As terrifying as it was a lot of fun to do, and just to sort of know how things happen in the movies that you watch as well. Like Kyle and Adam were really professional and really helpful. I had some amazing tips, and for such a short amount of time to train us for what we needed to do. Fantastic, yeah. It was fun, but also terrifying at the same time. It was a bit daunting, to be honest, yeah. There was a lot of people there. It didn't make me feel any better knowing that she was aware of what was happening, and there were people there in the room that everyone knew what was happening and everything was safe. We were in a safe place, but I found it really difficult to then come back from that after each night. It was really, it was really full on.
And action!
Production design-wise, creating Piper's bedroom, that was probably my favourite part of the production. I mostly took inspiration from like my own kind of life and also Bianca's, and we just put both of those together. So we did put a lot of different different words, different things that Piper was doing, and a couple of strange things like drawings and stuff, but yeah. So we put a massive photo wall in the bedroom and a tapestry with fairy lights and a beanbag chair, make it look really cool.
Yay, that's a wrap! The best thing on set about Beautiful Hollow was travelling from location to location. We had a variety of locations. One was at Emu Plains, one was in the city, and one was at Coolindale. It was great to see all the film crew, you know, basically touring like a musician, you know, with all the gear and stuff, you know, setting up with all the equipment, doing our little thing on set and then packing down and then moving to the next location. The process of it was quite dynamic, and I felt that experience of just going from location to location, it was just a fun process to experience with the film crew as well as talented actors. I think one of the worst things that happened on set was we were 1 hour from Nowra at this camping site called Coolindale. We had 6 cars which was just packed full of film gear and we were ready to go. And trust my stupid ass, I decided to lock the keys in the car.
Is there a problem here, Hayden?
Hi, I'm Hayden Huynh, and I think I've got a problem here. I seem to have got the keys in Liam's car, but I locked the doors, therefore I cannot access the car nor drive this. Which resulted in, you know, me and Nathan, our first AC, we waited 3 hours for an NRMA, and I think the biggest blunder of that is we had like the food, water, as well as essential camera gear in our car, so that's a definite learning experience for me.
Managing an audio team for once, I'd never done that before. I kind of found it a little bit difficult. I wasn't really sure what I was doing, but also having 4 lapels and the boom to all manage at once and handle and wrangle and all that stuff. It was a little bit overwhelming at times, but it was also a really great experience.
I think the scheduling, I think we didn't realise the scope of what we were trying to do until we were actually on set, as far as like all the scenes that we had to do, everything that we had to film, all the locations that we had to go on, having to reschedule all of that and like fit our minds around what we had to do, because we had a lot of time to do it in, but we also had a lot of stuff to film and get.
Like working with the shoulder mount a lot as well, because I found out actually how heavy it is to work with. They're much heavier than you think they are, and then long periods holding it on your shoulder, it can start hurting. So that was something that I wasn't overly expecting. I was expecting it to be a bit hard, but not as hard as it was.
One of the hardest things personally, and I'm going to try to do this without bursting into tears, would be to see some of the most traumatic moments of my life be played out over and over and over again, and having to go and like direct that and be like, no, like even simple things like stunts. To everyone else, it's quite like simple, like I think it's very methodic, like, oh, it doesn't matter as much, but I think to me personally, it does matter because it's very personal and it's very real. So I think that was one of the hardest things, and to not force myself, but to go through that, it's gonna sound very cliche and corny, but to go through that like healing process, I guess, was very hard. And then having to go home every night and think about like, oh, what I did, if it was any good. So to have those conflicting things of like, oh, I need to think of this professionally, but also this is affecting me personally. So I think having to constantly be professional and not biased towards the thing when, yeah, I just think that's a very hard thing to do, but hopefully I did it well.
I feel that audiences will connect to a story like Beautiful Hollows because it's quite a raw story, and it's also a story that fits within the domestic setting. Seeing the relationship between Piper and her mother, literally close to home. The story is set in a home environment as well as it centres around Piper, who's a 13-year-old, and I think that age in your life, you're basically transitioning from a child to a teenager, in which basically make all your rational decisions. This story is quite universal to audience members who are parents, adults, as well as basically Piper's demographic, who's a 13-year-old. I feel that this story is quite common to people who have experienced Piper's life as well as the mum's life, and I feel that this story will resonate with a variety of audience members.
But I think people who want to direct or write about something that's very personal, don't be afraid to do it. So many people, in my personal life at least, like doubted that it would work or that I should do it. And I think just the clearest piece of advice would be don't listen to them. This film was always kind of at the start like giving a reason for things that have happened, but now it's kind of gone more of this film has a reason and a purpose outside of that, which I think is really cool. It's changed how I see directing, and it's changed how I see a lot of things. The night before we started shooting, I wrote myself a letter, which is basically like just saying, if it all goes to hell, it's gonna be okay. Like, the hardest part of actually getting up the courage to write it and do it is over. All you gotta do is just film it. You've already done the hard work, and even if everything goes to hell, like, just, it's gonna be okay. Having a good film is just the icing on the cake, basically. So I think rereading that, it's interesting to see how much of it is true and how much of it I've learnt from it. That's it? Cool. Yeah. Damn. Sweet. Thank you. You can go home.